We're going to have a conversation, a sit down and chat type of vibe, very calm and nice. You can watch this anywhere you want, about self-love, self-improvement, self-prioritizing, and just being unfazable by anybody. Self-love, self-prioritizing. We're just going to stick to one word. We're just going to stick to self-love, self-prioritizing, anything. Self-love starts with you. Now, that is something, it may be confusing at first when you hear that, but let me go more in depth with explaining what I mean by that. Self-love is a umbrella term to me. The way I see self-love, it is a amalgamation of parts. Self-love can be portrayed as going to the gym, painting your nails, doing a face mask, making yourself feel good, loving your body. It's portrayed as many things. I think it is way more than that. I kind of see self-growth, self-love, and self-prioritizing, all of that in one kind of category of a jumble. And I think that the reason why I say self-love starts with you is because only you can. Only you can do this for yourself. Only you can start and make that push. Disclaimer here, editing Kaylin. When I mean that you can make the push, that doesn't mean, I don't mean that you have to do it alone. You are allowed, get help, therapy, and to experience that with the people you love and friends. I don't mean, be alone, do it yourself, all by yourself, alone, no one to help. That is not what I mean. Just thought to put that disclaimer there. To start seeing what is all over the internet, that girl, the it girl, the self-care queen girl, you can be that. It's just you have to be that push. You can't rely on someone else. One thing I learned in life is that no one else will be there for you. No one. No one else will be there for you 24/7. You have your friends and you have your lovers and the people that you are around and that you rely on for support, for boosts, for just lifting you and guiding you. And that is okay temporarily. It is not okay to constantly rely on them like they're a foundation to your house. You are the house and they are the foundation. If you rely on that foundation, everything is temporary. Let me just say that everything is temporary no matter what. What if something happens to that foundation? I remember when I was in a relationship, it was a long distance one. I relied on this person. I was not doing so good. I was very mentally unstable, and with that I became attached to this person and very obsessed because they made me feel good in the way that I wanted to. They gave me that serotonin I needed and they gave me that boost I needed. I couldn't do that on my own, and I relied on this person as my foundation to my house. And when the foundation started to break apart and maybe get some holes here and there, my foundation had to be evacuated. And when it did, it was very kind of like an epiphany to me. I knew then and there that I couldn't do it. I couldn't rely on someone like that. I had to be the person that would make that push to only rely on myself. But remember, at that moment, that is when that epiphany hit me that I needed to be the one who I was going to rely on, who was going to take care of, me. And I started that in the journey of self-prioritizing and improvement at a very young age. And I believe that becoming or trying to become your best self, I say that with quotation marks because I think that constantly we grow as people and constantly we educate ourselves and grow and learn things. So I don't think we can reach our best self completely because I think there is always room for growth, and that is why I quote it. But I chose at a young age to start improving myself and educating my mind and gaining emotional intelligence at a young age, because I think anyone can at any age. I don't think that self-improvement and growth is like a toy that has a age limit. I believe anyone can do it at any age, no matter how old, young or old you are. You can always start. I also used to be someone who was a heavy people pleaser, very heavy people pleaser, and I used to be very depressed and just not doing so good during that time before I hit my epiphany, and I had little to no motivation to do absolutely anything. Sometimes I couldn't even do things that were simple and small that people may see as something that's easy to do when you are, you know, doing normal tasks, but I couldn't do hygiene. There was things I just couldn't do because I had no motivation to get out of bed. I was at that point, and I believed that this person, I thought I was being saved by this person to bring me out of the hole, to bring me out of the dark, hence why they became my foundation, because I believe this person saved me. I was also a person who was very insecure. I did not like the way I looked, and I would project that onto people. I would judge people. And when the epiphany hit me, I also realized that no one else was left for me to rely on. I had to be my own hero. I was not in a good state. I used to be a huge judgmental person. I would project that onto people. To be honest, I read this book recently. I just finished it, the audiobook. It was called The 4 Agreements. It is a very good book. I heavily recommend. I remember it saying that we are taught simple things: to talk, to walk, say mama, say papa, and we are taught to walk and to obey. And we were also taught to judge. That is what the book said. We were taught to judge. And the society we live in, it is full of judgment, especially when you are in the stages of like high school, middle school. That is where you kind of see that all around you, full of you and surrounded. And being the person that was in the judging position, I was my biggest hater in all of reality. Another thing I read in that book was also, the more we self-love, the less self-abuse we experienced. And let me ask you for a second. Why? Why do you dislike yourself? Do you believe there is something imperfect about you? Do you think because this person said something about you or said something they don't like about you, are you taking that, and is that what is upsetting you? Are you thinking about that person that you may think is better than you? They may have the better brains, the better beauty, just anything better than you. Do you think that that is the reason why you don't like yourself, because you're comparing yourself to another person? Well, let me tell you 2 things. 1, never take anything personal. Never. That is something that was probably the hardest thing for me to learn, was never take anything personal. Someone projecting their feelings onto you, it's not about you. Someone is calling you fat, ugly, something they don't like about you, it's not about you. It really isn't about you. None of it is. It's none of your business, and it may seem like it because they're trying to project that onto you, but it is always something personal. And when I was that person who was the hater to everybody, including myself, it was more inner. I was having the problem with myself, and I'd project that onto people. People's words and actions and feelings has really nothing to do with you. Nothing ever is personal towards you, so never take it personal. You can only control what you do. Only you can control your feelings, your actions, and everything you do, you can control. Your feelings will always be valid, but you can control your feelings in the way you speak, the way you talk, your words, your actions. You control them. so can they. That same thing goes for them. They can as well. So if they can control their actions, their feelings, their words, it is not personal. And if you say something about them, it's not personal to them. It's personal to yourself. Someone you may be jealous of, someone you may dislike for some reason. That poison must be stopped. For a while, it is when hearing this quote from the wizard Liz. She is an amazing spokesperson. She is amazing, and I recommend her highly. She is awesome. Literally, she inspires me a lot of the times. You have to stop comparing yourself to other people or to beauty standards that are set nowadays or the trends. For example, what I read in the book was a lily and rose are both extremely beautiful. They are very different though. Very, very different. But you wouldn't cut the lily or shape it to look like the rose, would you? It is unique. It is unique and just as beautiful as the rose. And maybe even the rose feels as if the lily is prettier. You wouldn't trim the rose to look like the lily. Another example could be the moon and sun. The moon and sun both shine. They both have their own purposes. But they are very different. They are very different from each other, and they both have their time to shine, but they are both just as important, but they are different. You kind of see what I mean? If you look at beauty standards for the past few decades, they change constantly. This is why I don't like beauty standards. I think that we should learn to love our own bodies instead of learning to love what is loved by other people, what is preferred by men and just anyone in general, not just men. And there are beauty standards for men that are just the same, that people expect from them. And I think just beauty standards should just be cut off, ignored, so it doesn't constantly spread to our kids and our teens who expect that and want that for themselves just because it's what people see as beautiful. Don't get me wrong, it is beautiful. No matter what, your body is beautiful. And you should learn to love it because it is your temple. It is what gets you going. It is what makes you run. It is what gets you through the day. It is a very important piece, and you shouldn't be harming it, and you should be treating it as if it was maybe your best friend or your lover. Beauty standards change constantly. If we go to ancient Greece, they wanted their women to be plump and very full and pale. When you go to the Han Dynasty, they wanted slim waist and large eyes and tiny feet. If we climb to the Roaring 20s, they wanted women with a boyish figure, flat chests and short bob hairstyles. Jumping to the Hollywood ages, which I believe is probably the worst, is when they wanted people who were having the hourglass figure, the curves, and jumping back down to the swinging 60s, they wanted people who were long, slim legs and had an adolescent figure, which I'm not going to lie, I think that's, a little strange and odd if you think about it. But can you kind of see how it jumps back down, up and down, up and down, up and down, just based on preferences? Why are we trying to follow someone's preferences when it constantly moves? Even if it didn't, we shouldn't be following it. We should be just accepting who we are, because that's easier than trying to change yourself. Why not be happy with yourself instead of changing it with surgeries and implants or modifications? Let's say the reason is you're not happy with your body. There are many ways to fix this solution. Go to the gym. I know that sometimes it is hard to lose weight and things like that, but I think if you can't accept your body for the way it is and love it, which I prefer that rather than going to the gym. I still go to the gym, but I love my body before I even think about why I want to change. work on what you dislike or things like that. Even before that, you should still love the way you look. You are beautiful the way you are, and I say that and I'm not sugarcoating it. You can always change the way you look, and I think that just sticking to yourself, who you are, you know what I mean? Why don't we take a look at your diet? What is your diet like? What are you eating constantly? What are your eating habits? What is your eating schedule? Are you incorporating vitamins into your diet? Are you eating your rainbow, your greens, your fruits, your vegetables, things that provide the vitamins you need? These habits that people tell you, to drink water, to journal, to work out, to meditate, to get lots of sleep, they are very cliche, aren't they? But if you think about it, that's what all people would say. They're very cliche. But if you think deeper to it, why are they cliche? They're cliche for a reason. Because they actually help. That is what it does. It actually helps you. Now, coming up recently, I know it's a little late, but the year is 2023. The year I graduate, which that's pretty spooky. The year is now 2023. What do people do at the end of every year? They create resolutions. New year, new me. Now that we have made a new year, what do people do? People create resolutions. People create, goals and mindsets that they want to achieve. New year, new me, very commonly said. But the matter is, not a lot of people stick to it. They don't stick to their word. And I believe that one of the things you have to do is you have to be the one to change that pattern, that cycle that you do every year. And once you break that pattern, things will now start to change. They will change. During the new year, they have the smallest bit of motivation, and that's what gets people going, and that is what gets people wanting to do the new year, resolutions, but they never stick to it because they don't have motivation. That is not what you need. You do not need motivation. So, stop looking at those videos on YouTube that cleaning motivation. I know it can help, but it is also seen as procrastinating. Looking at those videos of people doing those productive routines, that is also procrastinating. It is a very hard pill to swallow. And I believe that once they have the small bit of motivation that they have, they don't stick to it because they don't have self-discipline. Self-discipline is very important and is one of the things that you should be learning and researching about self-discipline. And I can do a video on more about self-discipline and things like that if you guys would like that. You want to change your mind. You want to change your life. You have to change your mindset. There is no way out of it. You can't just take the easy way out. No matter what somebody says to you, you have to be the one to break the cycle, to break the pattern, to change what you actually want to change. Create that mindset, create self-discipline for yourself. What matters is consistency. Again, self-discipline. You want to change your life, you have to change the mindset. What you can do is research and educate your mind. Read books that will educate you on how to have a stronger mind and how to, have emotional intelligence. Books that create good habits and replace the old ones, replace the habits of poison. A book I recommend is Atomic Habits by James Clear. It is a very good book about creating good habits and staying consistent. I really recommend it. It is a very good book. So I basically want to go over and summarize what I was talking about into some key points that you can kind of look over and kind of think to yourself about. Number 1. Be your hero and not rely on someone. Be your foundation. Be your house. Be the garden. Be the animals near it. Be the person you rely on. be the person for you 24/7, every second of the day, to lift yourself, to guide yourself, to support yourself, because only you will be there all the time. Not everybody can be there the way that you can, and I would use that as your advantage, because once you learn that, it is a very strong thing to have as just basically like a mental asset. Since self-care is a plethora of things, in my opinion, I think that number 2 we're going to summarize is do not take anything personal. That is a very big thing I want to say. Do not take anything personal. No matter what someone says, no matter even what someone feels, no matter what someone does, it has nothing to do with you. It's none of your business. I do not care if someone is saying something about you, someone is saying to you, it is none of your business. It is always personal. It is something about them, something that they are bothered with, and you just have to be unbothered by that, because it really has nothing to do with you. And once you have that mindset, you are basically like a brick wall with titanium right behind it, with shatterproof glass right behind it, with an elephant right behind it. You are shatterproof, you are bulletproof, you are everything. You are unfazable. 3, stop feeding your brain with poison. Stop spewing poison. When I say poison, remember, I mean that poison is negative thoughts, gossip, rumors, talking smack, any of that. That is poison. Absolute poison. So grab it, get it out, throw it away, replace it with the bad habits that are poisonous, and replace them with new ones. New ones that will grow plants and not poison and toxic waste. You spread gossip, when you talk rumors and all of that, poison is frothing and spewing out of your mouth. You must stop. Once you stop, and once you ignore the gossip and poison around you, life will seem better. I guarantee it. Life will feel more positive. When you have positive habits and positive mindset and a positive, thoughts that are going into your brain, because your brain and mindset is the number one thing that will get you through all of this stuff. Once you have that, all the poison will be gone. You won't realize it until you sit back and reflect. So reflect on who your friends are. Reflect what your environment is, what environment you're putting yourself in, and kind of reflect on how you think. How is your mind? What are the thoughts, and how do they flow? And just kind of figure out where the poison is coming from. Pull it out, pluck, and throw. Last thing I'd like to say is that when you occur with these negative thoughts and these negative people and poison around you, the way I see it is, don't try to push it away. Do not try to push that thought away. What I do is I acknowledge it. You acknowledge the thought. Acknowledge, okay, this thought is here. This negative thought is here. I'm in this environment. What do I do? Acknowledge it. Realize that it's there and let it flow away. The more you try to push it away, the more it will come back and a stronger wave will hit. And you must try to work on emotional intelligence. That's something I can also talk about, and something you should put your own research in, put your own work, because remember, only you can do this work, and only you can put this advice into actual work. Once you gain that, you will be able to calmly react in situations that are poisonous, and acknowledge your thoughts and let them flow away in calmly manners. That is it for today, folks. If you have anything you would like me to talk about or discuss and have another chat and you get ready with me, I would love and happily be able to do that. Again, I hope you guys are having a lovely life. Remember, positive thoughts and a positive habit create positive life. I'll see you guys later.